There's skill across the board, and it goes back to our little mate fucking Ruben Cotter in the middle. You know who my player comp for Ruben Cotter is? He's Dallas Johnson with a little tip on and a little bit of mongrel, like, you know what I mean? Like
a little size, eh? Like
yeah,
you can do a bit more.
Yeah, you can just probably do more offensively. He's got a nice little tip on with that dummy half background. He's got a little offload. He pushes it up. He's always thereabouts. Ruben Cotter's elite, man. He's starting to move into that category now where I don't only see him as a guy that's like, oh, fuck, he's nice. He's becoming one of the premier forwards in the game. Every week he gets better.
YKTR Sports Nation, welcome back to the greatest podcast this side of Mars. As always, we are brought to you in the Body Science Content Studio, joined by Skipper Scope and a new look here, producer Jackson. He's going to be behind there, controlling it live, asking us questions. So
Desi's still here as well.
Desi's still here. Money's still here. We've got the full crew here. I'm including that. Before we get into this, this podcast is brought to you by Steady Freddy. Boys, on the show we speak about champions a lot of the time and try and pick who comes first. But in the bedroom, champions don't come first. Steady Freddy is a doctor-formulated delay spray that helps guys last longer in bed. Look, it's nothing to be embarrassed about. Premature ejaculation happens to 1 in 3 guys. There's 3 guys here, so it's happening to one of us, and it's probably going to be me right now. Been out of the game for a little bit, so definitely be taking up some Steady Freddy. Take your game to the next level. Steady Freddy is here to help you go the extra distance.
Look at the Steady Freddy penetration just coming in and out there. Is that like a
Are you trying to hit me in the mouth there?
I don't know what I'm doing with it. I just started doing it and I just couldn't stop. So I'll give myself a little bit of Steady Freddy as well.
You know what, Scope? They've also released a multivitamin specifically for... I always say that word wrong.
Specifically
for male sexual health called Ball Boost. Check it out, steadyfreddy.com, and use our code YKTR15. That's YKTR15 for 50% off your first order. steadyfreddy.com. YKTR15 for 50% off your first order. All right, we've got the full crew back. We're pumped. We're here. Scope, we're off to Magic Round.
We are, brother. We've got a few things coming up. Do you want me to go ahead and
announce it? Announce it.
Everyone knows that I like whipping up a little itinerary. So for the things that we've got where you guys can get involved, the average punter, we're going to kick it off on Friday afternoon. We've got some Doozy Club exclusive stuff happening Thursday. On Friday, though, we'll be at the Caxton for the Bulldogs Knights game. So we're going to roll in. We're going to the game to watch Manly versus Broncos, but we'll be at the Caxton a couple of hours before. We're going to have a little area. Hopefully, I spoke to the people from the Caxton. Hopefully the rain stays away and we'll be outside in the little parking lot area with just mingling with all the punters and degenerates.
We're going to be blind, I reckon.
We're going to be blind, and we've got some kit, boss, that we're going to give away. So, we're going to be out there handing out kit, YKTR kit before the game. We want to see everyone fucking decked out with YKTR at the games.
Free hoodies. That's all we're giving away. Free hoodies. Jackson, how many hoodies have we got coming?
There's a few hundred. There's a lot.
That much?
I think I've cleared off maybe about 200, 250 hoodies and T-shirts and stuff like that.
We got like 100 hats as well, and there's a fuckload more stuff.
All right, guys, if you're going to be down at the Caxton, we're going to be handing out free stuff there, so it's going to be awesome.
2.5 hours. Get on the piss with us, have a few beers, get some free kit. Fuck. Absolute jam.
After that as well, we're rocking up to a place called Kenjin. Am I saying that right, Scope? Give us a rundown.
Kenjin nightclub. We're going there. It's a YKTR hosted event. Skip's going to go jump up on the mic, talk a little bit of shit. YKTR's in the house, baby, all that sort of vibe.
Are we going to have the lights and shit going as well?
It's going to be pumping. So we've seen the Kenjin... We've combined with Kenjin and the club.
Apparently it's a good club, bro.
Yeah. We've spoke to the boys. I've spoke to the boys up there and they said it's nice. So depending on how results go, we might be able to jag a few of the boys to come out there and have a bit of fun with us as well.
DCE.
We got some, we'll see. It works. We got,
DCE.
When you think about the Bulldogs Knights boys, some boys that we've got relationships with are there. Same again, Broncos, Seagulls, see who fucking gets the dub in that game, depending on who's going to come. But we've chucked the invite out there anyway. So.
All right, so Manly get the win. Who's the first guy you want to have a beer with out of that crew? At Kenjin, where we're going to be the YKTR sponsored event.
Who
Surely Fozzie.
Is Fozzie coming? I don't feel like Fozzie's coming out.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I haven't spoke to Fozzie at the moment. We're going to get on the Fozzie news in a minute, but DCE's the obvious one. Our mate DCE, we haven't had a proper I had a catch up a couple of weeks ago, so fuck chairs. I'll go.
Fuck.
I'll go Joshy Schuster. No, actually, I'm going to go both back rows. Ola Kawatu and Joshy Schuster. They were unreal for us last year, jumping on the pod. That was after the fact that we'd seen him at Magic Round, and that was a good time. We ended up running into him last year at Magic Round. Actually, take it back. I love those two boys. Can't wait to see my boy T Sips. We did the jersey swap last year. He asked for my skipper scope. He wanted to be part of Scope Gang last year, so run into T-Sips, have a beer with him after they get the dub against the Broncos.
So they want to be part of the minority.
Respectfully.
Broncos going to win.
Oh, bro, that's going to be a mad game, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, so guys, we're going to be there at the Caxton. Nothing too formal. I think they're trying to block out an area for us, but that shit doesn't really matter. Going to be handing out free YKTR gear. Hopefully, logistically, we've tried to get as much hoodies up there as possible. So obviously, we're at the mercy of all that. So if you want some free YKTR gear, if you want to come hang around with us, we're going to be there. And then we're rocking up to a place called Kenjan after as well. $30 a ticket. I think 3/4 of the tickets have already gone. And there's only door sales left as well. Plus, we've got crews coming with us, like Scope said, whoever depends on who's winning. Good chance to mix and mingle. Player to fan, fan to player. That's how we rock around here. You know the rules. So we'll catch you there. We'll definitely be around Saturday. There's nothing going to be too formal. We'll be at the stadium for the main game. Me and Scope are about 33, 36-ish now. So we sort of don't back up as well, but we'll be around there. If you see the head in our hands, don't come say hello. On a Saturday.
Lukey will be out and about. He doesn't pull up.
Nah, so I need to put him on. I need to put little Lukey on curfews, man. He's got no discipline outside of work. 9 to 5. He's
Caleb should be good to go. But yeah, we'll be at the Storm Panthers game too, so that'll be a fucking cracker.
That's going to be the game.
Sold out tickets too, so if you're lucky enough to get tickets to that, congratulations. We had to get it late. We got a few mates that we had to lean on to get tickets because someone didn't come through with the goods. But
fucking Chico, useless.
No, but it's exciting. We're looking forward to both games. It's going to be a cracker. And even the Sunday's got a really good game in the Roosters and Eels, so this year compared to last year in particular, the games are stacked, man. So it's going to be a really good weekend.
Hey, yeah, shout out NRL for putting on this magic round. Obviously, we look across different codes and no one does it like NRL. So shout out there. Hopefully they keep it up in Brisbane or potentially move it down to a Melbourne. Don't ever bring it to Sydney. We're ungrateful around here. We'd fuck it up, wouldn't we?
What about the new stadium, that new Roosters stadium? If they decide to have
maybe the Roosters. Hey, a little bit off topic.
Change your tone there.
Yeah, we need some fans in the stands. Did you see the Roosters are trying to get a petition signed so Souths come?
Yeah, that's a giggle.
I'll be signing that.
That's how rivalry should be.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, there's no way in the States, because this is something that we've talked about before as well. I love the theatre that division rivals bring in NFL. Like, as bad as the Detroit Lions or Minnesota Vikings or Chicago Bears have been over the years, when the Green Bay Packers play those teams, it means something more. And you know, even Rodgers comes out and talks shit. And then, you know, just going off the game that we just seen on the weekend, Penrith versus Parramatta. That's how it should be. Hate,
but
physicality, love it.
Penrith are going to use Parramatta Stadium for the next 2 years anyway. So
that's what I mean.
They should be going to ANZ, eh?
Fuck that off. If I was
go to shitty ANZ when no one watches football and go play there for 2 years.
Obviously, it's a money thing.
Because we fucking hate you.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the way it should be. Yeah, fuck off. Go play at Glenmore Park. That's what I'd be telling them. I'd be telling them go play at Glenmore Park Brumbies if I was Parramatta. And yeah.
Yeah, all right, guys. We're going to be up at Magic Round. Hopefully, we bump into any of you guys. Make sure you come say hello to the boys. We're going to have vlog cameras coming around. So if you want to be on vlogs, if you ever want to do anything cool like that, come say hello. And
I need to redeem myself.
Don't be a punish. Don't be a punish.
I need to redeem myself too. I had a bit of a skull last year with a punter and got hammered.
No, you can't drink. So, you're not that type of drinker.
So I'll be all right. Then you step up to the plate.
I wasn't trying to be a mad cunt on
I'm
TV.
not trying to be. I'm saying I need to redeem myself. I need to be better. Trying to kick me while I'm down.
No, I'm not trying to kick you the way you're down, but that just wasn't a good skull. And some people can skull and some can't. I can't.
Hey, but this is what you love about the Skip. He has a crack. Even when my back's against the wall. My boss doesn't believe in me. The people don't believe in me anymore. Let's go, baby.
Mate, I'm
ready to go.
The video don't lie. The video don't lie.
Tape don't lie.
All right, let's rip into it. Three of the best, Jackson. Let's roll.
All right, let's go. We're going to start with, we're a couple of days removed now. Scope, we'll start with you on your boy Fozzie inking the 2-year deal at the Titans. I was keen to get your boys' thoughts on this, both from obviously Manly's perspective, the Gold Coast perspective, and then your mate's perspective. So 2 years, reportedly around the 400 a year, something like that. Scope, your boy Fozzie.
Bittersweet for me. Really bittersweet. I'm happy because...
Are you a Manly fan this week?
I'm sad that he's leaving the Bird Gang. Not even if you weren't a Manly fan, and I know I've read comments with people when this signature... Fozzie is just so manly. Like, the way he's sort of rebuilt the last sort of 18 months, playing consistent footy, been touch wood, he's been, relatively injury-free. I'm just really happy for him because like we said, I've had conversations with him before, 18 months to 2 years ago, where before the Manly gig happened, he was, there was a lot of uncertainty with, what he was going to be doing, whether it was in the NRL or overseas. To see him rebuild to where he is now, getting a 2-year contract to go up to the Gold Coast Titans, which I think is exactly what the Titans need right now. Even if I'm being selfish and I want Fozzie to play, finish his career at Manly, such a good sign. When I look at it from the Titans' point of view, it's exactly what they need. When I watch the Titans, they can happily be in games, but they're missing that final touch. And I've still got, despite the start of the season, I've still got a massive rap on Toby Sexton. I think he's going to develop into a nice player. He needs the time. And I had a little chat to Fozzie about it, and he's excited to get up there and work with not only Toby, but all the youngsters up there. Brimo, Jaden Campbell. There's a lot of uncertainty now, who's floating around that who'll be partnering, which is a conversation that doesn't have to be had right now for me. It's get into pre-season, put your best foot forward. I dare say Brimo will definitely be a part of that mix for sure, and it's up to Jaden and Toby Sexton to prove that they're capable enough to be in that role with Fozzie moving up there for the Titans. But, I'm excited for him.
I like it. I like it from both parties. I think probably I was very critical early on, sort of talking about Schuster rolling into the 6. That one game he had when he was playing back rower up at I was like, nah, this guy needs to be touching the ball as much as possible as well. So, and maybe Fozzie's got to the point where he realizes like maybe it's time to sort of step back and let someone else come through. And he's Manly through and through. He loves Manly. So he'll do anything for Manly. And sometimes that's removing yourself. I think it's a really good play. Like Scope, I think it's a really good play from the Titans as well. They just need experience. Titans aren't a very good side right now. Besides Tino, I can't see anyone else there that's really... Who else is killing it for him?
Well, not killing it. Brimo's been trying his guts out every game.
I think
Tino,
Mo Fodawaker's been solid.
Mo Fodawaker's been really nice, you know what I mean? They just need that experience there. And I associate them in the same category as someone like the Brisbane Broncos, where they've got young guys that are really talented, but they just don't know how they get the ball. So they're probably looking over at the Broncos down the highway and going, "Fuck, Adam Reynolds can do that."
That's a great point.
And I'm not saying Fozzie's that Adam Reynolds style player, but they've got the same experience. They've got the same lessons. And sometimes when someone like a Cooper Cronk goes to the Roosters and they're not as physically capable anymore, and Fozzie fits into that category. It's more so what you say Monday to Friday at training. It's more so what you say behind the goalpost, and it's what you say after a loss as well.
Stay in the state.
He's a winner.
Stay in the same state. Go up north. Chad Townsend up at North Queensland.
Chad Townsend,
Ren and Chad Townsend are the perfect examples, and I was going to mention that as we got to the games, but it's a great point. Just a solid first graders. They know what to do at the back end of sets in particular. When you look at the Titans, they can get up the field with ease against most teams. They've got the power battle to get up there. But what they do is they lack a bit of polish when it gets inside the 20. They get a little bit nervous. They get a bit erratic.
Yeah, run happy, eh?
Yeah,
a
guy like Fozzie will just really calm everyone down, know what to do on the last tackle, know where to put the ball, know when to make that right pass. And I think that'll make all the difference for him. And it's a great signing for both. Yeah, it's sad for Manly, but they've got some nice youngsters. Not only Joshy Schuster, I know they're excited about Manasi Fainu's brother, Latu Fainu, who's there as well.
I reckon he's a weapon.
They reckon he's a gun. So it's
he's even got the little nod of approval from the politician himself, Daly Cherry Evans.
Yeah. So like, there's the way that Manly's contracts are constructed with Ches, Tommy, and Jakey, that's got to be the focus. You always talk about those role plays. You think about the Melbourne system over the years. You've got the 3 to 4 big dogs that they've had at the club. You've got to make smart decisions around sort of younger players that you can get on cheaper deals and sort of hope for the best in the next couple of years, or not hope for the best, but develop them and turn them into proper first graders. And then you've got to have that uncomfortable conversation 2 or 3 years down the road. But if they can get some value out of some of these young guys that are looking all right at training, that's probably weighed into the decision to sort of let Fozzie head up north.
I saw some sort of narratives doing the round. It's a bit of a dark cloud take on this, as I typically come out with. But because you said it's a good deal for both clubs, if Manly a lot of people are saying Manly are in their win now window right now.
Yep.
And the risk, obviously, with letting a guy like Foran go, even if you were to just re-up him for another year, is, Fainu's probably going to be special, and we don't know what Schuster's going to be in the 6, but I wonder how long you have in this window with Manly, this premiership window. Do you know what I'm trying to say? How long do you have to develop a new 6 versus giving Foran an extra year and having 2 years? Like the Roosters try win the comp every year.
Yep.
Whatever their roster is, they try win the comp every year. and a lot of clubs seem to be forecasting for the future. I just wonder whether letting a guy like Foran go, because you don't want to probably pay him too much, versus having a red hot crack this year and next. I don't know where you go with that.
Scope sort of brought it up as well. Like someone like Ola Kawatu, like he's probably playing 3 times above what his pay packet is right now, and you got to maximize those young guys out as quick as possible. But yeah, I think. And I mean this with the utmost respect. I think the 6th position at Manly is one of the easier ones to roll into. You look at like the 7 position in Titans or the 7. They've got great infrastructure around them because they've got Jakey Trbojevic, they've got Tommy at the back, and they've got DCE. Like DCE hasn't dropped. He hasn't dropped off in his playing form whatsoever. That line break that he got, that try, that was like him. He was doing that shit in 2011 as well. So you got DCE that runs the team. You got Jakey Trbojevic that pushes you out a little wider, and you're passing to guys like Ola Kawatu or the new back row that's coming from the Tigers out the back to Tommy, and you don't have to do a majority of the kicking. DCE does 90% of the kicking. So as rolling into a number 6, I think it's one of the easier positions to slot into.
Yeah, I agree with the point. As long as, to your question, Jacko, as long as they got Turbo, Ches still playing at elite level, and he's going to be there for another couple of years, and Jakey, you can figure out the rest around it.
Yeah,
and there'll be a genuine chance. Yeah, they might not be heavyweight like favourites or whatever, but especially if Joshy Schuster develops the way that they expect him to develop, and he sort of comes on. Window's open for the next 5 years. Look at the ages of Turbo. Turbo, it feel like they've been around forever, Jakey and Turbo, because they played during my time. But fuck, they're still like mid to like mid 20s, I reckon they'd be. So they've still got a good 5-year window. And Ches is showing no signs of dropping off with age. If anything,
he's signed through 2025, I think.
Yeah, if anything,
he's more professional, bro.
Yeah,
he's so professional, like with everything he does, like from top to bottom, from Monday to Friday. He's trying to win games for Manly, and I can't say that everyone's about that in rugby league, but he definitely is.
All right, let's roll on to my boys. I think Nathan Brown's officially replaced Madge as the coach on the hottest seat at the moment. He's come under pressure. I was at the game. It was an awful watch against Cronulla Scope. It was a tough one to be sitting on the hill for, but the question has been posed, which loss hurts more, getting smacked by 70 by Melbourne or losing to 12 at one point, 11 men?
Do you want to take, you're an ex-Warriors, great. So
the highest win percentage record in the number 7 jersey.
Undefeated.
Oh, I reckon.
Start on Nathan Brown. I mean, what do they do here with Nathan Brown?
Start on the losses. Which was the
Which
worst
one
loss?
do you reckon's worse?
The Sharks won 100%.
100%?
Yeah, because I've seen Melbourne do that to teams over the last 15 years.
70 though?
70's big score. Like, just say if it was 62. What
about an 80? Imagine an 80. Has anyone had an 80 before?
I think, unfortunately, if Pappy stays on, it might have got to 80. They took Pappy off with 15 to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they just ran out of time for 80. They
That's
would have
a point a minute, bro.
Yeah,
That's a point a minute. 80.
Yeah, that 80's ugly.
Yeah,
You're
you
right.
go.
Yeah, for me, it's the 12 players for roughly 60 to 65 minutes.
65 minutes they were down.
It's hard to bounce back from. We had a question in the YouTube comments, maybe about what game? It was after the awful Tigers game, and someone asked us in the questions, like, why isn't Nathan Brown, even though they won, it was that bad of a game, and they might have come off, this is before they strung a couple of wins together before, I think, so they dropped the first 2 games, and then they had an ugly performance against the Tigers in round 3. Someone said Nathan Brown should be under pressure. And you know what the Wise fans like. They love getting in the comments.
They come on.
They love getting in the comments. You'll see them, very emotional, and they love to have their point. But I thought, just considering what the Warriors have been through the last 18 months, Nathan Brown comes in. They've been relocated for a couple of years. They've been away from their family. You just give everyone at that franchise the benefit of the doubt. But after that performance against the Sharks, you seriously have to question if they've, and this is not, but sometimes when I throw these things out and you're not a part of the locker room, and I've got absolutely I don't know anyone in that locker room as well. Geez, there must not be that much belief in there about, sort of what their plan is or, who's in their team at the time. I remember when I look at the Warriors a couple of years ago, and this is where I think that's really hurt them during this time over COVID, is they haven't had their younger players coming through the grades playing 20s or New South Wales Cup. A lot of their younger guys are coming through. I remember back in the day, they used to be like, oh, yeah, he's got a little bit of Connie Harrell coming through, Solomon Carter. Like some of these players would come on and hit the scene and you'd go, fuck, he's got a little bit of something about him. Yeah. When I look at this Warriors team right now as it's constructed and some of these guys that are coming on, there's not really many of them that I'm looking at going, oh, fuck, he looks all right. Yeah, a little bit,
There's something
get
about him. Yeah.
Get a little bit fitter or just, develop a nice little pass or he's got a really good carry, nice little bump. I just don't see that at the Warriors at the moment. So I'm a little bit conflicted where I was thinking I need to see more from him. There needs to be more development, but I'm also wary of, fuck, they've been through a rough time of the last 18 months. A lot of their youngsters haven't played much footy, and I think it's showing up now in the results where Jacko talked about it last week where the amount of names of buys that they're bringing in, there's just not much development happening at that club. And that's disappointing because that's where there's so much talent in New Zealand. You've got to be finding ways to identify them, even though they're not playing in the competitions in the lower grades, and finding them, bring them over to Redcliffe or wherever they're based, and making sure they're getting all the best young kids coming through and they're getting the best development that they can.
Maybe their development system has never been like that strong. Like maybe they kind of remind me of like the Western Sydney where your nursery out there is just big because you got big islanders and they're a lot more physical and stuff like that. So if you look at, it'd be interesting if you had a team that started at the Warriors, left out, like a guy like Peter Hiku, who actually develops better once they leave the system as well. It'd be interesting to get your starting 13s on each side and where they sort of match up now. Obviously, like an all-time Warriors is going to be different. But I think that Nathan Brown under pressure is a fair statement. The other side of the question is there's no one really else out there.
That was going to be my next question.
It's like we've got a shortage of halves at the moment. We've got a shortage of coaches. Like if you look at other positions like centers and 13s, there's an abundance of them. Fullbacks, there's about 1,000 fullbacks at the moment as well. There's a shortage of coaches, and I think coaches are moving a lot smarter right now. A guy named Cam Serraldo has been part of the Penrith system. He's probably he's the next guy up, but he wants to be like Craig Fitzgibbon, where you pick and choose what type of squad you go into. Back in the day when we had an abundance of coaches, if something popped up, you just had to take it. That's just what you had to do. And I think he's looking at someone like a Garth Brennan, who also come through the Penrith system. Soon as Titans come up, boom, took the job. Probably didn't have the roster and out. Someone like Anthony Seibold, really good coach in my opinion. When I had him come through the Melbourne system, had him at Manly as well. Really great coach. Went to the Broncos, got shit up the side there as well. So I think timing when you come into head coaching is really, really important with the type of roster. And saying that in roster, I think they've got enough to do a lot better to beat a Shark side down by 12.
That's my point.
You got Adam Fanua-Blake, Matt Lodge have a crack every single week. Mudders Curran is there as well. Shawnee Johnson's probably the guy that we really need to be looking at. And I've got the most respect for Shawnee. I've come through the systems with him and stuff like that. But right now, if you're not a running half, you're it's like a couple of years ago, if you're a fullback and you couldn't pass, you're kind of no good.
Yeah.
He needs to be running at least 8 times a game. And I still think he's got a great running game. It's just how do you build that into a system? You got someone like Reece Walsh, you watching him, he's having a crack every single run. You can see him calling for the ball. Jackson said he was in the crowd and you could hear him. Yeah, like he wanted the ball.
Clearly, he sprayed Jazz a couple of times when Jazz found himself at hooker and went the other way, but he was really ripping into Sean, more so just like when he thought he had it on a short side. He really wanted the ball. I was disappointing with Sean because I felt like he was in the game early. I think
they started well.
One of the first plays, he really got up out of the line and got into Talakai, and he gave away a penalty, but he was proper into him, and he sort of arced up a little bit. I thought, fuck, we're on here, and the wheels fell off. But Scope, on your point about the lack of development, I mentioned it last week. I thought it was worth pointing up because guys like Rocco Berry and Viliami Vailea got a lot of criticism. Jesse Arthurs is another one, but the outside backs, the Warriors got a lot of criticism in the last few weeks. This isn't an excuse at all. But if you just have a look at Rocco Berry's played 13 games of rugby league.
Yeah, I didn't realise that.
Not 13 games of NRL. He's played 13 games of rugby league.
So he's union background, is he?
He's a rugby union boy, and without the junior system. So he came in during the COVID. He got signed straight out of school, straight into the COVID world that we lived in. So there was no lower grades for the boys. Viliamo Vailea is another one, straight out of the Aotearoa first 15 system. These guys, not only have they played fuck all footy, they've played fuck all rugby league.
Yeah,
that's no excuse. That's the club. You know, there's guys out there who have played rugby league.
Who's the recruitment at the Warriors at the moment?
Well, it was Pete O'Sullivan, and he's obviously gone up to Redcliffe, so I wouldn't know at the moment. But certainly not an excuse, but I'm just saying that the boys are...
It's a definite reason, bro.
It is. It plays a factor for sure.
Because, especially when you see the Sharks with 11 men stripping them for numbers out wide, and you're going, how the fuck's that happening? Well, these guys don't have... I know the Warriors have a defensive system. I'm sure they fucking do. But these boys haven't played in any defensive systems really.
Nah, but
You can see he's raw as hell, that Rocco Berry, but he's got
There's something there.
Yeah, there's something there, but he's just raw as hell. So that makes sense that he's only played 14 to 15 games.
I asked Scope a question at coffee this morning, Jackson. I said, if you had, I think the 1, 2, 3 teams are so much better than everyone else right now.
Yeah.
And I asked the question, if Melbourne Storm played with 12 players for the whole season, would they still make the 8? What do you think?
Who are you dropping out?
We had a look at it. So Rabbitohs were at the 9 spot as well. But
No, I mean what player? Like you just taking off a bench forward or something?
I reckon, let's say I'm like a middle forward.
Right. Oh, so 12 players on the park.
On the park for the whole season? Do they?
As good as he's been, take out Josh King, who's been playing lock for him.
Okay.
They still...
I think they still make the 8.
I said I'll give them a red hot crack against at least 4 teams to beat the team. 4 teams. Obviously the ones down the bottom. Knights at the minute are not playing well enough. Bulldogs, Warriors, we've seen it against the Sharks. And the Titans just aren't playing good enough footy. West Tigers... I'm
think the Tigers can get him.
I'm seeing signs of improvement there. Raiders, I don't know.
Guys, comment down below what you generally... I'm generally interested because I think they still make it because they're that much better than everyone else right now.
I said to Ice, I think they could really get through maybe 4 to 5 weeks. And then I think it would really they would hit a wall after about 5 or 6 weeks if they have to play with 12. But
I remember
it's crazy to think that that's even a thought process that goes through to think that that's how good they are.
I think it's a genuine question.
And that's what I mean. And how awful some of these teams have been playing down. And it's highlighted by what the Warriors did on the weekend.
Yeah.
All right.
Melbourne top 8, 12 players.
Let's roll on we'll finish off with this one. It is the Shark suspension, so we stay on the same game. But Scope, I know you wanted to touch on this, and we had a bit of an argument on the Monday. I said that I thought they got it all right. You said they got it wrong, and you were proven right by the judiciary. But the suspensions...
And I don't like that, Jacko. I don't like to be proven right by that, you know?
Yes, you do.
The red cards, what did you make of, firstly, the Will Kennedy send-off, and then secondly, the Rayman yellow card?
So this comes from experience. Yeah, I seen Gal come out and said it, had a similar comment on NRL 9 on the podcast or show that they did as well. At first, when you seen it happen live, I knew straight away it looked way worse than it actually was. While she gets up straight away, I have been in both of those situations where I've been the guy who's sort of come out, got my footwork and timing really wrong and clipped someone across the throat or the chin. But the arms out like there and there's just not that same force. Like it's more just like, fuck, you throw your hand out there. And
you're giving up inside shoulder Scope.
Oh yeah, fucking every day of the week. So that's why I used to stay nice and tight and fucking try bear hug the shit out of them. But I've been in the situation on both occasions, and although it looked crazy, I believe Will Kennedy should have got sent for 10. I actually thought Jesse Ramian's shot was worse because Jesse, he's a big boy. He's an aggressive centre. He comes in, he gets all his body weight and force behind it, and hits Ewan Aiken.
He was out before he hit the ground.
Yeah, right on the chin. And I love that aggression. I'm not saying I'm not trying to rip into Jesse Ramian here. I'm just saying the 2 incidents. Jesse Ramian, he should have got sent 100% for me.
Do you reckon if everyone was on the field, he gets sent?
For sure.
So the ref just feels a
100%.
bit guilty?
Yeah, I think that played into it for sure. They even said that across the telecast and the commentary that they felt the same way. For me, Will Kennedy, 10 for bin, 10 in the bin, bit loose, careless, couple of weeks. Fair enough.
Do you know what always a good indication of something like that is? So when you watch it on TV and you see the slow motion stuff, it looks really, really bad. But I think the best indication is the next person who's always next to them. So say it's like Wade Egan because he's pushing up, or Adam Fanua-Blake was right in the vicinity of all that. If they react and they start to run in, I think that's when, like Scope sort of saying, it's kind of like a rugby league play right now. Like you understand once you're in that situation that sometimes it happens, but the best indication is like how players react around it. So if they'd run in and started like punching and stuff, you know it's like a lot worse than what it was. So
as soon as the Will Kennedy one happened, Wade Egan hit the 10 like that.
Yeah, he didn't even care.
As soon as the Ramian one happened, he started pointing.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Fucking perfect.
So that's a perfect example. Yeah. And it wasn't your guy too, Wade Egan. So yeah.
And you could hear Adam Fanua-Blake going in, if that's not careless, I'm not here.
Yeah. He actually talks really well to the refs, Adam. Like
Adam's fucking
he's a smart
unreal,
dude, bro.
Yeah, he's so switched on.
Yeah. All right, should we rip into the preview? Before we do that, should we read another?
Can I just talk about the Sharks and something that's really sort of standing out to me? What the really good teams are starting to do right now, and who's the two? In my mind, like I know Panthers roll on points, But in my mind, the two best attacking teams right now are Melbourne and Sharks in terms of structure, in terms of shape. It's not always about points. But one thing they've really started to do now is start to attack from the middle part of the field. So like when we used to play Scope, it used to be like drill them to the corner, force a mistake, try and get into set pieces, and everyone used to try and copy Melbourne. I think the really smart teams are figuring out the best place to attack is in that middle part of the field. From the 30 metre to the other 30 metre, if you look at the Sharks' first try, where Nico Hines goes through as well, that's the best place to attack because the defences aren't as aggressive. A lot of the times the fullback's not in the line like you're close to there. And the really good sides are starting to score more points from long distance as well. So I think it's something to pay attention to. And the hard thing about this is, so like say you get a tackle of 6, they kick over to you. You've got 2 tackles to set up where a lot of teams are trying like go like run, kick and try and do that. Pay attention to it. Like a lot of the better attacking teams are attacking from further out. So
it's cool that you brought that up because I've got a point that we'll get to Melbourne Storm when we get to the breakdown of that. It's very similar.
I got one last point I want to bring up on the on the just the red card system because every time someone gets red carded, they bring up I would like to see the rule change scope. What about a basketball ejection? So the way that I think it would work best would be a card is a card, a yellow card is 10 in the bin, a red card is also 10 in the bin, but you're not allowed back on. So essentially you're ejected.
I like that, yeah.
You lose a player for the game, but you don't have to play with 12 men. I know it didn't affect the Sharks. If anything, they bloody grew a leg, but I hate the idea of us getting to finals time and someone like a Will Kennedy does something like that, a pure reactionary play, and they play for a finals game with 12 men. Yeah, I don't mind a team playing with 16, but 12 is tough.
You know, in basketball, how they always go to that GMs and sort of do like a mass vote. It'd be interesting if they went to all the coaches and done that because there's two sides of it. Like obviously when you're on the receiving end of it as well, like it hurts, but it's just like a penalty. It's always going to be split, but I agree with that. I actually like it.
But it does defeat the purpose of making sure players are more controlled and not getting themselves in those positions.
What about a red card? What about a red card as 20 minutes? Then you can is that because that's quarter of a game.
I've heard that spoken about before. I don't know. I still think 10 minutes when you're down to 12 is a pretty harsh punishment, and the fact that they can't come back on, I think that's punishment enough for foul players. I don't think that deters anyone any less to lead with the shoulder.
And the other side of that as well, so say he got like a 2-match suspension of it, and essentially he's already missed the whole match as well. So it's kind of like, it depends when that happens though. That could happen in the 80th minute.
They talk about that again in basketball. They talk about an ejection. If it happens in the first 2 minutes, does the rest of that game, should that count into their suspension? Do you know what I mean? And then 6 minutes randomly into a game 3, they can rejoin. Anyway.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
I'm getting lost in the sauce.
For me, there's only been one send-off that's deserved it from memory this year, and it's Carl Lawton.
Mitchy Barnett.
Mitchy Barnett.
See, I still think, yeah, that's right. We'll go too far. We'll talk about Mitchy when he comes back in. I didn't think he meant to do that, and I don't think...
What?
He didn't. It was a reaction. We talked about it. We already talked about it on the sports show. Let's not go over it.
Shout out Mitchy Barnett, my boy.
He's back baby. Too. You know what else is back is Manscaped, Isaac. The good people at Manscaped are back supporting the podcast as usual. There you go. Use promo code, you know the drill, promo code ICE or promo code SCOPE, SCOPE. Cop yourself 20% off. They've got their amazing Scope. That's the only undies you wear now, isn't it?
The jewel pouch.
Yeah,
the jewel pouch.
I wear it in bed, just nice and relaxed. Nice little temp.
What are you doing?
I'm chucking on the deodorant.
Nice.
Were you a budgie smugglers guy during footy?
I still budgie now, so whenever I go, I've got budgies on now. So when I go for, I'm going to go shoot some hoops after this, Jacko, if you're keen.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Maybe later this Arvo. So if I know I'm going to do some activities, I chuck the budgies on. If I know I'm just kicking back at home, watching a bit of TV, boom, chuck on the Manscaped briefs.
And if you want to do the same, chuck on the Manscaped briefs, use promo code ICE or promo code SCOPE, head to manscaped.com.
Little ad read for Budgie Smuggler there too.
Yeah,
we snuck that into
the voice.
I just start sending the boys invoices.
Just organic.
Unintentional ad reads. All right, Jacko, let's go. Review, preview, magic round. Let's roll.
Let's roll. Game 1 is the Bulldogs versus the Knights. No real massive team using this one other than your boy, Mitchy Barnett. Scope is back in.
He'll be your boy next year. He's off to the Wars.
Can't wait. And Adam Clune is also back in. Scope, we'll start with you on this one. Let's start with the Bulldogs. What did you make of their performance last week?
Yeah, I just thought they looked a bit, what do I write down? I said they looked flat the entire game. They really struggled to get in that game. They went down to Canberra, and it was one of those games when you go down to Canberra off the back of a really good win that they had the week before. Because to be fair, they had been up for about 2 or 3 weeks. Even though they didn't get the results, they had been trying their guts out for a couple of weeks. And they finally got the win, and I just felt like they looked relieved and a little bit complacent in that game. Few players, ins and outs for Canberra. Jared Croker comes back, Elliot Whitehead comes back, but they're missing their Daily M player of the year 2 years ago and Jack Whiten. I just thought they relaxed and just took the foot off the pedal a little bit, and they weren't playing with that same energy that they'd been playing with in prior weeks.
Yeah, exact same takes the Scopers. They just look slack. Like that's a tough road trip, and everyone sort of talks about it. And you're going to training like, let's not talk about this. It's going to be cold down there. We accept it. We're going to go for like a 2-hour drive. But they just got outplayed from the Raiders, to be honest.
Matty Burton still jagged himself a few Dally M points, Scope.
That was weird. That's fucked up. Respectfully.
Yeah.
Frawley should have got the 3 with the little dummy.
He was nice. He was really composed for him. We'll get to Canberra a little bit later on, but I just thought he showed some really good composure. When we talk about, he doesn't have the complete runs on the board, but just a guy that's been around NRL systems for a while. I thought he was a really steady and influence for Schneider.
Yeah, I sort of the Knights' performance as well. Like, obviously, KP's trying his ass off every single day. I think the inclusion of, like, having the ability to throw someone in like a Tex Hoy. Early on in the year when the Knights were having a crack and KP was out and he was the fullback, I thought he was really good, bro.
Yeah.
So, like, I see him got an house and I messaged him. I was like, bro, congrats, get back in there. So, I think there's a bit more upside to a Tex High than someone like a Clune and Clifford as well. So I thought they looked a little bit better. The conversation starting to happen is like, how do you get KP the ball? And when you watch him, and the weird thing is, like, Joey Johns is like is he their attack coach or halves coach?
Just halves coach. Yeah.
How is KP only getting dummy half scoops to get the ball?
Well, one, they don't have
one their share.
They're losing possession battles pretty much 60-40 every week. They're under the pump. KP's getting the ball in shit positions, bringing it out. He's having a proper crack, man. KP's been under pressure and had his own criticism because of the big contract that he's just signed. But I said to Jacko last week on the Peanut Butter and Jam show, I could see him getting his hands on the ball a little bit more. And Texie Hoy playing out the back, because that's his more natural instinct to play out the back. He had a nice little tip on the Dom Young for the first try.
Bro, Texie Hoy playing Penrith Panthers.
Yeah.
Rimbo, and they were down to 12. Yeah. Bro, he was the best player.
He was unreal. Yeah, I like Texie. So that's the freedom that they have, where they can play KP defensively at fullback, but he's the guy. He needs to get his hands on the ball. It's not going to get to him in the current structure of him just playing fullback the entire time. So Texie can fly around and play that sort of sweeping role. Phoenix Crossland, he's a little goer. Like, he has a crack. Adam Clune's the same way. They might not be as developed as some other halves, but they have a crack, man. And the Knights juniors as well. When you look at Phoenix Crossland and Tex Hoy, that's a part of it that can sort of have a little extra effect on, like, wanting to play a little bit harder for the jersey. No disrespect to the other boys there. Clifford's the guy, though. Clifford's the best half out of all of them. He needs to somehow find his way back into the team once all the
he was the early favourite for Dally M,
gets his confidence back, and gets a few off-field things sorted. But if they can roll, I think the best halves combination to give them best chance to win is Clifford playing at 6. Texie, just chuck him in the 7, but essentially KP plays 7 with Texie floating in out the back and he's getting the ball. I thought the Saifidi boys probably played their better game of the year as a duo as well. They were.
I reckon KP probably, like, as great as a Joey is as a half coach, I reckon a coach like Billy Slater would be worth the weight in gold at someone in Newcastle, like a specialised fullback coach. Because if you watch KP, he's very much like he parks himself on the left side and waits for the ball. You used to watch Slater play, like he's always in and around the ball. He could get an offload. He could get it first receiver. You watch someone like Tedesco play. I'd love to see KP play that style of play where it's not so much get to a point, look up in a wide 4, and all right, I can strip you here with a long ball, short ball, or run it. Just get those, like, offloads and then run.
Yeah, we bring up a good point about Billy Slater when you think about, essentially, Melbourne Storm have 3 fullbacks playing half 5'8" and fullback for them. Munster, Jerome Hughes and Pappy have all played fullback at some point of their season, so they don't actually play a traditional 7. The beauty in it is that there are other really good players around them that make their job a little bit easier than others, but developing.
But still, your processes can be the same. You might not have the polish, but the touches.
Yeah, and in the way that the game's constructed these days, it probably suits more of a fullback sweeping and playing on the ball a little bit more.
I think it's a good point. Probably one's better suited for the Melbourne chat, but just on that, Cooper Cronk on the Matty Johns podcast was sort of breaking down the Melbourne Storm attack, and he spoke about the fact that their 3 chief playmakers are all fullbacks by trade. So he goes, Melbourne traditionally were the grind you out, up the guts, get to a post and play their shape. And he goes, now they choose to play off wide straight away. So they set up from a wide look every time because they want Hughes, Munster and Pappy to all have a little bit more time with the ball. Whereas Cooper Cronk goes, when I played, I wanted it digging into the line and I had Ryan Hoffman just bang. And he goes, that was my default and everything else played off the back of that. So it's interesting what you say about the 3 fullbacks versus the 3, like, key playmakers.
Who's the other side that I said is the best attacking? The Sharks. Look at their three. They're three fullbacks.
Yeah.
And they can zing it from side to side whenever they want.
That's a good point,
And that's where all the tries and that come from.
We're going to be blind at the Caxton, so I'll get a prediction now. Bulldogs or Knights? Scope, where are you going?
Knights. I'll go Knights.
Yeah, let's go Knights.
All right, fuck it. I'll go Knights. All right, let's move on to the Bird Gang versus the Broncos.
Sorry,
continue.
the coach on the sideline, Baz down there. Do you like it or not? Does it reek of desperation or?
I think
You don't mind
I
it?
think he mixes it up, bro. I've seen him down there a couple of times.
He's weather dependent, old Baz. He doesn't like the rain, but he's.
Do you know what it like? It reminds. They can tell when the camera's on them, so they like kind of. I feel like they start to force reactions. So when you're up in the coach's box, besides Bellamy, besides Maguire, like when it's on them, you can kind of play it like cool.
Maguire gets done dirty with that cam. They flip to it every time there's a Tigers error.
There's a guy on a full-time wage just filming that guy there.
Yeah, that honestly, the game against the Warriors again. I bring that game up. I reckon I seen more of Michael Maguire in that game than I did West Tigers players. He was on there, and little Jacko was at the back too.
I don't really like it. Who's little Jacko at the back?
Hastings.
Oh, Hastings. I don't really like it. I don't know. I think it puts like a weird pressure because you can't have your coach on the field as well. It's kind of like like tennis where you can't really talk.
I wonder. Maybe I'm just an idiot, but I wonder. Like, I assume if you're coaching from there, you can't see as much of the game, right?
No way.
So I feel like tactically, I suppose the point is tactically you've already put everything in before the game, but in terms of making adjustments and things you see.
don't know.
Is it micromanaging?
Yeah, that's
micromanaging,
yeah.
to me.
Trust the boys with their tasks.
I don't know. Do you think? If I'm just trying to think of what would I do? I enjoyed watching the games if I didn't play, just because you get a feel for like if you're sitting on the bench, you could get a good feel for. Actually, no, I'd definitely send my assistant coach down, and you'd want to have a guy down there that you trust that's going to come back and go, what's the contact like? Can you hear the noises? Can you hear chat? You talked about hearing Reece Walsh. I'd want to probably be down there to know if my chief playmakers, but if you're not down there, then you need to have someone down there that you trust for sure.
I've been in the coaches' boxes a few times in NRL games when I was at Manly when Baz was trying to get me to coach, and I was doing like the computer work. So because he knew I knew how to edit stuff, like I'd watch the game, and then if someone scored a try, I'd live chop it and send it to him. I was like, oh, bro, I was the guy going like, oh, this is why we scored. Bro. It was pretty mad being up there.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Me, him, and Cardi.
Like Lukey Stowe. Love that.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Manly versus the Broncos.
Going to be a good game.
Yeah.
It's going to be a cracker.
I'm actually really looking forward to this one. Big in scope. We got Haas and Capo returning for Brisbane.
Yep.
And your boy, Big Schmoley, Ola Kawatu is back in for Manly. Isaac, let's start with you. Why not? Let's go on Manly for this one. What did you like last week?
Yeah, I think they leaked too much points for the type of side that they are, and like that kind of looked like a 20 scoreline to me. One thing I do like about Manly at the moment is the Brookvale vibe.
Yeah, it's nice.
Always like Scope will probably speak on this a lot better than I can, but man, Brookvale looks like a fucking vibe to be around and to play it. And I know they fixed up the grass, but I thought they were good. Man, it helps having classy halves. Like, obviously, we're friends with DCE, but I've got a massive rap on him. He hasn't dipped down in any way. I think Benny was. Trbojevic was really, really good as well. So they seem to develop some really good juniors coming through as well. I thought Broncos were good as well. I'm really looking forward to this game, actually.
Scott?
Yeah, I just thought one thing that stood out for sure is that Turbo's not 100%. He's still a couple of weeks away. It was highlighted by that chase on Luke Garner. Your boy Luke Garner with a nice
He's
little
quick, bro. He's quick.
Yeah, he fucking...
He had a game, mate. He jammed Fozzie as well.
He played unreal, Garner, and we'll get to that with the Tigers. Because he's going to be a real player for Penrith. I can see it next year already. He can close to one of the buys of the season already.
He will be, bro.
But yeah, you could see just Turbo couldn't quite unload. I sort of seen him was floating about. Played a 60%, 70% Turbo is probably still top 3 fullbacks in the competition. But I think that run will do him the world of good. Heading up to Broncos, I feel like there's going to be a lot of energy around this game. There's going to be
pack crowd.
Yeah, I think the contact in this game is going to be right up there to begin with. Everyone's going to be pumped. Hopefully the weather stays away and we can see some free flowing footy as well, and you really start to see Turbo open up. But
Manly are going to throw it no matter what. They don't give a fuck if it's raining or snowing. Bro, Manly is a side that play football all the time. They don't care.
Yeah, and the Broncos will want to match him. I think they've definitely got the.
Do they got the skill to match him skill wise?
Well, when I was watching the game against the Rabbitohs, there was a few. They've still got, because they're raw, because they're young. Apart from Corey Oates, when I look at them in terms of like games and combinations across the board. They're still like a youngish group, but they've got a lot of potential in that back line to become obviously the one that stands out the most. Katoni, who's a star. Like he's already arrived. He's a star. But them developing as a back five, Selwyn Cobbo was unreal. When he comes in, when he sweeps across, like
he's special.
He's going to be a real player, and eventually he'll go to fullback. But by the end of the season, you could be speaking about this back five up there with the best of them. They've got that potential. Potential is a big word. I love Herbie Farnsworth. Corey Oates
slept on, bro.
Corey Oates is getting back to origin form. The way he's playing, just getting in for those good yardage carries. A couple of errors, but that's all right. But yeah, it comes down. He's been coming down with the footy. Well, I can remember about 3 or 4 off the top of my head this year where they're popping it up to him. So he was doing that 2 or 3 years ago as well. So
Gordon Tallis came out for a point the other day. They said, like, as great as Payne House is, he doesn't influence results.
I'd probably disagree with that.
Disagree?
Yeah, because I'm just trying to think of the games. All I can picture is Payne Haas chasing back off breaks and grabbing balls or chasing people down.
I don't get how the best front rower in the comp could possibly not influence games. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I think when you influence games, when there's,
I'd like to see
you talk about points on the board.
Yeah, I don't think you can get points on the board unless Payne Haas is getting you to a spot.
Unless you're getting a front foot. Yeah, you look at a team like
there is a snowball effect from that.
Who did we just mention before?
It's kind of like the Sharks conversation with Nico Hines. Like, what position does he go into? If he goes to fullback, you're still putting points on the board as well. So that's what I'll be doing.
Yeah. Interesting to hear that come out of Gordy, because then that
he's a hater, babe.
Is he throwing that out early because he knows something's going on with the contract situation? Almost
he looks like a rooster to me, man. Payne Haas. He looks like a rooster to me. Him and Munster.
Plenty of dolphin in him. All right, well, let's get a prediction out of you boys. Scope, we'll start with you on this one. Do you think Manly got enough to get it done?
Yeah, it'd be remiss if we didn't mention Ren coming back to South. I just want to quickly go over that. He's the perfect example of how important halves are in the competition. Broncos are a 3 to 4 better position on the ladder team than they were last year, and South's the opposite. I know they're missing some players.
It's an 8-way swing.
Yeah, it's like they're sitting right next to each other on the ladder, and the main reason for me is that little man, Ren Diggity, the little angry man who I was pumped for him. Got up, to the show, scored a little meaty.
Yeah, the show last week, even old Pretty Ricky said as much. He basically just said, he goes, I know a lot's been made of it, but we literally can't understate how important he is to our side. And he goes, yeah, he's a little bit of an annoying cunt around training, but he goes, once his footy, it's all business.
You want that on, like, because when you're in football, and I know people associate with the dream job, but fuck, it's a grind when you're in there, especially if you're losing and stuff. So he lightens the mood, and we were lucky enough to, like, I only trained with him, but Scope was lucky enough to play with a guy named Jamie Lyon. Same vibe, bro. Like, your best player, but Monday to Friday was a pleasure. He made it fun. Yeah. So those guys are really important for a changing room.
Scope, did Manly get it done?
Bird gang, baby. Let's go.
I'm going the other way, just because of Magic Round, hype. I think the Broncos will probably get up for this game a lot more. Like, I know they would have been up last week for Souths, just purely for Ren. But, man, they're on their home ground.
And Bird Gang out of the hiding last year too, so they'll be remembering that.
They're starting to look around like, fuck, we've actually got a team here. We're on our home ground. Everyone's coming up to watch us, so I think they might be on.
And don't sleep on another little inclusion that you forgot to mention. Number 15 on the bench. Andrew Davies back, baby.
Oh, your boy.
I love me some Andrew Davies.
What about Scope?
We got all 3 back rows back. Olakawatu, Schuster, and Andrew Davey back in the 1 week. Schuster's name on the extended bench, but I gather he'll play. So
completely off topic, unrelated. But I saw a bit of a rumour mill going around that Cade Cust apparently wants to come back to Australia and play footy again.
Is he going all right at Wigan? Do you know?
Challenge Cup, yeah. He's got to be fucking going all right. But he's got a clause in his contract. Well, terms of his release, he can only play for Manly if he comes back. So
your boy Cade Cust.
So Fozzie leaves. Cade Cust wants to come back. That's what I'm saying.
I coached Cade Cust when he was in the 20s. He's a good kid, man. Yeah. Like, tough as fuck.
He's one of my favourites, Cade.
He played with a broken nose, and they were coming like last. He was like, bro, get off the field, man.
Yeah, he was a guy we ran into last year at Magic Round. I had a couple of beers with him there. He's a good laugh. Yeah, he's a good fella.
Country kid.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the mighty Vodafone Warriors taking on Souths. Biggins. Tohu Harris is obviously the biggest.
Hey, welcome back.
So Tohu's back. And Cody Walker set to make his debut. He was with the Warriors on Monday. Nikorima. Cody Walker named it captain. Nikorima straight back into the 14 spot. Blake Taff's still under a bit of an injury cloud. The rumour is apparently if Taff, he's got the flu. If he doesn't overcome those symptoms, Cody might jump at the back. Nikorima. So Nikorima's in. Tohu Harris is back in. Isaac, Warriors performance last week. We did speak a little bit about it, but Talk to me.
It's one of those ones you just got to quickly sweep under the rug. And I've been in positions before where we've played a game like that, obviously not down by 12, but lost. I think you just try and get back on the horse as quick as possible. You go to training on Monday, Tuesday, probably bring out a basketball. You remember those ones, Scope?
I've got that every week anyway. So
Under the old Mount Smart East stand.
Yeah, or you play like AFL, but with a frisbee. Just get it, and you try and make football fun again. Because right now for the Warriors, after that loss and getting pumped by 70, it's not fun. So you do that. Back in the day, you used to go get on a piss on a Monday. Ivan used to sort of sanction drinks like that. But I think you just sweep it under the rug and try and move forward. Same with Souths as well. They haven't been that impressive. And obviously we talked about Cody Walker. Like, he is the guy. And obviously Bren used to take all the pressure off him. And he used to do all the kicking, and you can see the frustration coming out on Cody Walker. He's kicking balls.
I love does the captaincy help that at all? Do you think? Because I would assume, obviously he's captain because Cam Murray's out, but I would assume part of making Cody Walker the captain, the hope is that you get a little bit of that shit out of his game.
Nah, you are who you are, man.
No, I like that.
You know the saying?
He's 31. He ain't changing.
Yeah, he ain't changing now. If there's a little niggle, he's grabbing the collar. He's palming him in the face. He is who he is. But he is their best player. And I don't think you always have to make your best player your captain. I don't think it always... Like, probably KP's a prime example of that. You just kind of want someone nice and steady that can do a job. And if they are your best player, that's great. But I don't reckon... Oh, he's good enough to figure it out. It's just up to him, to be honest.
Scope start with the Warriors last week.
Yeah, we touched on it a little bit. I just think it's going to be a hard game to overcome mentally, that loss. I think that, like I said, I think they're going to struggle to overcome this a little bit more than they did with the Melbourne game 3 weeks ago. But the thing is, and the beauty, like I said at the Badger Ground, the NRL gods have just matched teams that seem to be
around the same
spot or where they are. I think these games are going to be pretty exciting because...
Dana White's putting these games together.
Yeah. South's got their own question marks. I read, watching that game, I said, there's a combination of Souths have lost their presence of having Wayne, Adam Reynolds, and they badly missed Latrell, considering that they've lost their captain and their coach from last year, so there's a lot of leadership gone. And then they're also missing their main strike player.
Got a debut coach, as well.
Yeah, like debut coach, debut captaincy for Cam Murray. He's a lead by action.
Cody Walker.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Cam Murray,
out,
yep.
You mean this year.
But yeah, playing last week. He doesn't seem to be that rah-rah sort of guy. So when you've got a guy like Latrell at the back, who's going to be, like I said, helping out Cody Walks when Walks gets in those little push and shoves and he's talking that shit, and then Trell's running in and letting them know about it too. They just miss a bit of that energy and a little bit of that presence at the moment. So they just need to find that with wins and performances that they're proud of, and they get a great opportunity.
Do you reckon Cody Walker's a type of player? And I remember watching a documentary about Reggie Miller, and he was one of the great trash talkers of all time. But he used to trash talk just to get himself going. Do you reckon Cody Walker's the type of player that needs to be in those types of scenarios to get him going?
No, I think he's just. I think Cody's reactionary every time. I think that's just in his DNA. Like, I can picture him just playing backyard footy against like his cousins or brothers or whatever his family, and just getting into it because he reminds me of my little brother. My middle brother was like that. We used to play, and then I used to my middle brother would always be with my younger cousin, and then would have him, and he'd just lose his shit every game. And I can just see a bit of Cody Walker in my middle brother.
Who wins?
Yeah, Souths, just because I just don't think Warriors can mentally overcome that.
Yeah, I'll go Souths. I don't reckon I'll pump him, but...
No, either do I.
Go in the wires, man.
All right, let's move on. Titans versus the Dragons. This is probably the biggest team list news coming out of the weekend. We called for it last week, Scope. Well, I did. The Gold Coast have reverted to type a little bit. Brimo is back in the 6, and Jaden Campbell is back in the 1. There's a little bit of history in this one. It's actually the official day. I think it's like 10, 15 years to the day of the Titans coming back into the comp. They played at Suncorp against the Dragons, and Preston Campbell's in the number 1. So it's a little bit of
that's cool.
A little bit of poetry in that. But Scope, talk to me a little bit about the Titans
storyline. I like
the makeup of their side and their performance last week.
The performance last week, I wrote down. The Titans play that bad at times. This is where the bubble thing comes from. That the opposition go into a false sense of security because they think, all right, we're going to roll these guys by 40. Then all of a sudden they get a sniff or score a try and they come back into the game and it might be like 22-18 and the team's like, what the fuck just happened? Like, because they're capable of it, because they've got so much talent across the park. They've got some really good players, even some ascending players as well. But they got the Roosters into a position where the Roosters, they're not convincing as well. We'll get to the Roosters as we go on. But when I was watching that game, I was like, the Titans are fucking half still in this. Like, as bad as they've been playing, they played so bad. They're just missing that little bit of leadership and structure. I love the idea of chucking Jaden Campbell. For me, I'll get to the tiers as we go down a little bit later on in the competition. But this is a team now where I feel like everyone's auditioning now. It's time to audition to see what they've got for next year.
I used to like watching the Titans play probably the first 4 or 5 rounds because it was kind of like you don't know what you're going to get. But then after a while, it starts to get like a little bit old as well. So like,
you do know the inconsistent is consistent.
Oh, there's a guy in our office who I can relate this team to as well. Like, it's funny at the start, but then over time, must be tough being a Titans fan. Obviously, you're a Warriors fan, so a little bit you'd probably understand this, but I just don't know how they get better.
And this is what makes this game fun. These two teams are complete opposite ends of the spectrum, but the results aren't all that much different. There's going to be, I don't know I can't get a read on this game because the Titans are the bobblehead. Dragons want to complete and play negative and try win that way. Fuck, who knows what's going to happen in this game? This game could be anything, man. Dragons versus Titans.
I know Brimo's having a red hot crack, but surely he's starting to look around and starting to get a little bit frustrated, eh? Yeah, and he wants to put the pressure on his shoulders as well. Yeah. When you're the best player and you're a gun, you want that pressure on your shoulders. And I think, and I'm not saying he hasn't been having a crack, but he must just be looking around and go, fuck.
It'd be frustrating.
Surely, boys, come on.
Yeah, it'd be frustrating.
Your boy Isan Masters also back into the side, so he's named in the centres. So yeah, shout out to Isan.
Yeah, we talked about Isan the other day. Like, I got to play for him back in the day with the Cookies, and like when he was at the Tigers, bro, he was like Cowboys headhunted him.
He played for
and he got paid big money. It's just kind of sometimes you lose confidence and something like that. I think Isan's more than capable of being a really, really good first grader. So pumped to see him back in.
Dragons last week, Scope. What'd you make?
Called that one to a T. You're just not going to play. You're not going to beat Melbourne Storm trying to play conservative, kick to corners. They did it for 30 minutes. Like, it was close for a while.
You're right,
but
Dragons.
See, that's the way they're going to play. Obviously, they've got their blueprint. They know what they're about. This is why it makes it a weird game to predict, because you think they should be able to grind out the Titans, but Titans are fucking so weird, man. It's hard to get a read on it, but
I think Benny Hunt-led Dragons are going to be too good for the side, and I think Dragons will get excited for being up at the stadium and stuff as well. So I think Dragons get it done.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm going to go with you again. I think I followed you every pick here. Scope, who wins?
Surely going Dragons? No, Benny Hunt.
Yeah,
he's too good, bro. Benny Hunt's too good at the moment.
Yeah, you're right. I was fucking tossing between it, but when you mentioned Benny's name and how he's been playing this year, you've got to go down. And I just think it's again, they just come up against the Storm.
I am pumped to see Jaden Campbell back in, man. I love watching that bastard play.
Might be able to see the old Ravalawa live.
Oh, great.
Okay. Yeah, it's one of our favourites. My favourite.
See the back end of the game?
Yeah, we'll see the second half of the game, I reckon.
All right, let's roll into the game of the fucking week. It is the Storm versus the Panthers. Like we sort of predicted yesterday, Nick Meaney has moved straight into the one, Aramea onto the wing. So Munster stays in that 6 role. Isaac talked to me about Melbourne.
Oh, it hurts. It hurts not having Ryan Pappenhausen. Yeah. And this is like...
Was it Magic Round?
He got injured in Magic Round last year with the head knocks.
Was that when he... No, was it the one before where he scored 4 tries and a half? Was that just against Broncos? I can't remember.
I thought it was against the Warriors.
No, they pumped Parramatta probably about 2 years ago at Magic Round. It was 70. And then I think he got the big head knock in the Magic Round last year.
They ended up pumping the Dragons late after Fui Moana got sent off for the hit on Pap last year.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, obviously this is going to be the game of the round. Potentially could be game of the year. Suncorp Stadium. Both these sides aren't from there.
It's a sellout.
Sold out. Like, we were struggling to get tickets for a little bit as well. Not that we're fucking big dogs or anything, Scope, but we know some people in and around the joint.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to this game as well. Munster, Prime. We're fucking biased here, but we deserve to be right now. I'm looking forward to him taking on a guy like Nathan Cleary. Just a straight shootout. I know they're different positions, and I know they've got artillery around them with their spines. You got your Jerome Hughes, you got Harry Grant, you got Cheesy there as well. It just hurts me a little bit because I remember these games last year and there was always someone missing from the main games.
Yeah.
Like Nathan Cleary comes out, Justin Olam should have scored in the corner but gets held up, and they're still great games. It just hurts me. Probably like the most informed fullback right now isn't playing.
Yeah, and when you look at the Broncos and Manly game that's coming up, all the big dogs have come back for this game. It makes it even better. So it sucks that Paps is missing. A little bit of bants happening in the group chat already between the Prez and Cleary, talking about him being the big dog up at Suncorp and being able to get that. So I thought that was funny last weekend when it comes to tickets. But the Storm are elite. Oh, this is what I wrote down watching that game. The Storm are so elite at exposing weaknesses in opposition. So when people talk about the Storm now, they obviously revert back. This is my point we were talking about before. I believe people think Storm a little bit more willy-nilly than they used to be, where because they throw the ball around in their own halves compared to grinding, playing through the middle through Cameron Smith, but it's 100% planned. What they do is it may look like it's a risky play coming out of your own end, 20 metres out from the goal line.
It's not.
They would do so much video on exposing teams that are just too shallow. So what happens is the league is a copycat league. What you want to do, everyone talks about it, cliche. Complete sets, kick to corner, keep them in the corner, tighten up.
Boring.
But guess what?
Wins
Melbourne,
games.
and I seen it last year, and I said to Normie last year, Penrith would do it really well as well. The top teams, just because they're coming out of yardage in their own 10, 15, doesn't mean that it's a negative style of footy. They'll identify, there'll be indicators. So when Munster looks up, and it may look like, fuck, we just got a double cutout from Harry Grant to Munster to Olam, and you think, fuck, Melbourne Storm, they don't give a fuck anymore. They're throwing the ball around. No way. There'll be indicators. So they'll find someone. So there might be, if they're 10 metres out from the sideline, if the centre is inside the furthest post, Munster will be going, they're way too tight. I want the ball. Let's go. Fucking get me the ball. There'll be a super hot call, whatever it may be. Get us the ball, fling it out. And then everyone's going, oh, the Storm throw the ball around. It's very educated. It's like, that's what I want to highlight about them. So they'll be doing a shitload of video on those sorts of things. And then opposite.
It's not even a centre, bro. It's your back rower inside the post. You're shifting.
Yeah, exactly. So Ice will know that because Ice has been a half himself where he's looked out and he's going, Scope, you're too tight. You're too tight. Right? So then the opposite effect. If they don't get it, guess what? They've got a game plan. They've got a plan B. We're going to go straight through the guts. They look up. Munster looks up. He might fucking get there because what he does, he gets back nice and early. He gets set. He's always in position because he's fucking fit as fuck off the piss, off the punt. All this stuff's playing into it as well. He's getting back. He's set. He's looking up and he's going.
Off the contract.
Hey, he looks up and he sees the back rower. Oh, and there's a fucking lazy middle that's out in us too. Cheese, get the ball, go straight through the guts. Harry, run, let's go. That's the difference between the Melbourne Storm of now of old, where I just wanted to highlight where I think people, maybe the average fan doesn't realise where they look like they're a little bit willy-nilly. They're throwing the ball around. They're carefree. They're so much more planned than what you think if you're watching it.
Do you know who is a little bit willy-nilly? And we talked about teams attacking from halfway. Maybe like Manly, but it's not like, I don't reckon they're as formal, as educated as that. They just natural footballers and it comes easy to them.
And we had the shape at Manly. So we always played sets where we would have certain plays, and I can still see some of the similar ones. And I know Ches loved playing them, where we would roll through a set and we had the play. So just say if you, for instance, it might have been me where I had the green light. Well, Gifty had it more than me. Glenn Stewart had it more than me. But if we looked up,
you had the orange light.
We'll take the first carry. Generally, the front rower comes off the kickoff. He gets, runs it relatively straight to where the 20-metre line is. You sit down the short side. You've got your back rower, centre, and winger. And then Foz would sit just behind the ruck. And then if I looked up and we had two. If we had two, I'm going 100%, and it doesn't have to be a big play, but I'm going to go and play that short side. But if we had three and maybe two middles at marker, then again, we're on here because the markers aren't going to be able to move as quickly as a back row would who'd be in that position. So they no more have the shape that it's a generic shape for them to flow through it, whereas Melbourne Storm, they'd identify weaknesses on each team depending on what they see in the video the week before.
Do you know what Storm remind me? You know, in UFC, like when someone knocks someone out and they're clearly knocked out and they're falling down to the ground, and there's two types of UFC fighters. One that just go, all right, cool, I've already won. Or the Jorge Masvidal that jumps on and just goes bang, bang, bang.
There's a little bit in that in Askren. There's a lot of chat before that one.
And that's what Storm do. They don't give a fuck who they're playing. From the first minute to the 80th, they don't care if you're up by 60, bro. They're just going to keep going, fucking giving the hammer punch on top of their head. They don't care if they're knocked out. They don't care if they're down by players, down on confidence. They just keep punching in the head.
Because, and just, the last little thing, and this is exactly off the back of Ice's point and why it reminds me. When you look at their shape, right? So when they do that shape, they might look like it's fucking free flowing coming out of yardage and they're throwing the ball around. But have a look at most of their tries. Once they get close to the line, what does Munster do? Have all that shape, run straight at their middles. Nelson Asafa Solomota, little tip on, goes through. Pappy comes out the back on his first try, has the shape, show and go, bang, straight through. So it's all a mirage with them. Things may not look like the way that they seem. Like they're always playing a game, and they set shape up to go. Yeah, and they'll expose if they can see something that they've identified in video, then they'll expose it.
And then they'll punch you in the head when you're knocked out.
Yeah,
I think you make
72-10.
Who wins?
Yeah, well, we'll get to Penrith, but I think you make a good point, Scope, about it's not like, you know, the Warriors of old or 05 Tigers where they are literally just chucking it around and relying on skills. Their micro skills, they are long passes, but they're before the line, they're hitting it at pace. Like it's not, when they shifted off the kickoff, you know, the Dragons obviously came up, G'ing up, ready to jam them, and they just went Kenny, Munster, Olam, just went bang, bang, bang. And it wasn't a huge break, but you saw the Dragons go, fuck. Well, we were ready.
What happened? You got 10 Dragons that are on the left-hand side of the post that have to flow. Now as they're coming across, they're trying to count numbers to go, fuck, who's going right side, who's going left side. All of a sudden we're out of position, bang, Harry.
Yeah.
And this sounds...
Panic and Nick Meaney goes 7.
Ivan used to have a really good, I used to really enjoy Ivan as a coach because he used to make things sound like really simple. So like whenever we used to get into shape like that, their saying was like, find a skilled player. So that was all. So like, say if you got an offload, the next thing you do is find a skilled player. And he goes, if you want to know they're skilled, how do you know if they're skilled? They're on the most money. So whoever's getting paid the most money, get them the ball as quick as possible in those types of scenarios, because that's what they're paid to do. So those are like Ivan's ways of coaching. Who's on money? All right, you're getting the ball.
Speaking of Ivan, what about the Panthers, Scope? What did you like or not like about him last week, and then going into this one?
The last two Parramatta and Panthers games have made me happy that I'm retired. They have been the most physical battles. The finals game was unreal, the low-scoring 8-4 game. And this game was brutal. Like, it was fucking so good to watch. The Panthers, Brian Toto is just going to get better. He was so impressive for the amount of footy that he's missed to start the year. But the one thing that stood out for me is the Panthers' back five coming out of yardage. It just felt like, even though Parramatta got the win, they were just strangling them with their carries. What they were doing is the best teams in the competition do it really well. Obviously, the Storm, they've got a bit of a different touch on it that I've told you about just then. But the Storm, the Panthers and the Sharks, they do it the same way. They get their back five in, they carry the ball on the first, second, maybe sometimes even third tackle. They get you on the front foot. Then Isaiah Yao starts coming in with Fisher Harris tipping on, playing a bit of shape through the middle to kick to the corner and just suffocate Parramatta. Parramatta did such a great job to counter it, and I will get to that in a little bit as well. But then their middle five, Uppy Carousel, fuck me, for a 9, like the 2 9s in that game really highlighted how important a strong defensive hooker is in this day and age as well. Uppy just chops people. Isaiah Yao and Fisher Harris are just big, strong bodies. They do a really good job, and this is a dying art. I remember we were doing this 5 or 6 years ago, but I don't see it as much anymore. Is we used to call it slow kill. So what we used to have is whenever we would do wrestle sessions, instead of trying to hit people to drive through them and tackle them to the ground, Panthers do it really well. The first person doesn't want to take them to the ground. They want to get in. They want to get their contact solid. Unless it's Uppy who comes in and just chops the legs. If you see Isaiah Yao or Matt Eisenhuth or even Fisher Harris does it well, when they come in and hit the outside backs, instead of fucking driving them to the ground, they hold up. So there's 2 or 3 in the tackle. The rest of the line gets back and they call it a slow kill. You want to take your time to get him to the ground. By the time they get him to the ground, the Panthers' defensive line's ready to go again, and it fucking amps up and it gets in your
Martin
face.
starts flying.
Liam Martin's coming at you, so
They almost wait for that held, and then they start to tip down.
yes,
Yeah, that's what they do. That's what
it.
they do, yeah.
Because not slow kill. It's called slow death. Slow death, same thing, but it's just a different mindset. And then
Still murder.
yeah, it's still you still don't like it. You still don't want to be on the other end of it. But yeah, I just think with Pappy missing in this game, it's just going to take a little bit out of it. And I think Panthers will bounce back. With
Yeah, shout out to Meany though. We sort of highlighted shout out to the Melbourne system, because when you look at their backline, like besides Munster, no one was like a sure thing into first grade. Like he
Coates
was
had
like,
all the upside, but there was plenty of. There's a reason. That
oh,
he
Coates,
left,
sorry,
yeah.
no, he's in that same category as Munster. He'll go down as one of the greats, I reckon, in my opinion. But everyone else there, but like Meany going into one, like keep looking forward to this. And obviously, it's like a Garrett going to.
He looks like he's playing happy, Nick Meany.
The last couple of weeks, he started a bit slow. A lot of pressure
100%,
of pressure coming into that Fox role. He was a little bit shaky to begin with.
And they liked Aramea in the preseason a lot as well.
Did.
So,
and they like Marion Sevi as well. So he's done a good job to sort of come into a new club, find his way. And
Need the old Isaac Lumi back. He's my boy.
Lumi's down at the Dogs now, I think.
Yeah, I know. Give him a run, Baz. Fuck yeah.
Surely Redcliffe. Ice, where are you going with this one?
I love the Storm. They're my favourite side. I just think Panthers bounce back after that. They're not used to losing. I think they just bounce back after
Panthers
this loss.
lose 2 in a row. Fuck,
Yeah.
imagine that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I just can't see Panthers losing back-to-back games.
I'm flipping. I'm going Storm.
Can I ask a fan-to-player question for you boys?
Yep.
What preparation is better? 1 week prep. Would you rather smack a team by like Melbourne did, or like I'm saying, was it a better prep to lose a tight one like that?
There's
against a
more
good side?
motivation after a loss. Let's just put it that way.
It's easier to coach.
That was what I was trying to ask. Yeah,
it's
that was a shit
easy,
question.
it's
but-
easier to coach a team off a loss because naturally you're just a little bit more hungry than.
And yeah, of course, but you run out of Suncorp Stadium, it's fucking going to be packed. It's going to be as busy as an Origin game. So you're going to be hyped no matter what.
And the other team's Melbourne.
The other teams in Melbourne.
If it wasn't Melbourne coming off a loss, you just think Panthers are going to smack anyone. But because it's Melbourne, you go, Melbourne never get complacent. They don't care if they beat Warriors 60, 72, 10. They're still going to come out and beat the Dragons fucking 40 to fucking whatever they
They
did.
punch dudes on the ground when they're knocked out, Melbourne. So I don't know. I don't really care who wins, to be honest. One, we're going to be drunk.
Yep.
And two, they're the best teams in the comp. So
We'll be there.
It's going to be
Come say what's up.
yeah. We're going to be there.
I'm going to go the Panthers.
Oh, Marion
anyway.
Sevi's in as well.
Sevi's in as well,
Must
yeah.
be Remus Smith's
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck,
he's tore his pec, bro. So he's out for 10.
He's been really solid for him in the last 18 months, so that's a big out
He's
too.
bigger than I thought, Remus Smith. He's a big boy.
big dude, bro.
All right, let's move
His
on to
dad's
the...
Tyron Smith.
Yep.
Like, he's huge.
Yeah.
I see Tyron down at Clovelly and Bronny. They're still in
He's a bit of a glamour, eh?
Bro, he's still in mad shape. He trains every day.
Talks real smooth. That smooth talking moldy.
Yeah. Good dude, man.
Let's move on. Sharks versus the Raiders scope. Big news coming out of it is Nico Hines has obviously moved to fullback, so they got their suspensions in there. So Trindle comes straight back into the halves. He was under an injury cloud. He's obviously sweet, ready to roll. Talk to me about the Sharks 12-man win scope. We have spoke a lot about it, but what'd you make of it?
Yeah, it just sums up where they are this year and what they're about. They're fucking tough. You look at the players that they've recruited, how they've ingrained it. Nico is clearly the guy. Moyes is playing his best footy. So happy for Moyes, man. He's playing really good footy. Like they just rip in for each other, and that's, you know, I sort of broke down a few of the X's and O's for what Penrith do and what Melbourne do. Ice talked a little bit of what the Sharks do as well, but they just fucking turn up for each other, and they're a team that's going to turn up for each other and going to be a fucking hard out for the rest of the year. They're a top 4 team, and they're going to stay in the top 4.
I don't know if I know. Like, I'm not trying to have a controversial take here, but everyone calling that a tough win. Like, the Warriors were so bad, bro. The Warriors made more tackles than Cronulla did. Cronulla had more possession, more territory, more. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I know it was tough. Obviously, anytime you got to play with 12, it's tough. But
That's it,
they're
Jack.
calling it like this historically great win. I just think the Warriors were fucking awful, man.
That's because the Sharks made him play like that. That is fucking so hard to do what they did.
They did. I
It's
mean,
hard
Nico
when
forced
you-
4 repeat sets basically back to back to
Yeah,
back. So.
and clutch moments.
I'm just saying, like, I don't think it was the toughest win of all time.
That's
all I'm
Warriors
saying.
bias. That's Warriors bias.
Okay, probably is.
Because it's actually reverse.
Hey, here's a different. So like we play Warrior. The day I done my ACL at Penrith, the penalty count was 13-1 to Penrith, and we still won. That's that.
See, that's tough. When
Is that because we were in the Warriors?
Yeah, pretty much. But the Sharks had, and they forced it. You're absolutely right. But they had they had the run of everything. There wasn't the Warriors
except
put
for the
zero
time that they had
pressure on them.
11 players on the field for 10
But the
minutes.
Warriors put no pressure on them. You know what I mean? Anyway,
Yeah, but that's more
still a tough win. I'm not trying to take anything away from the boys.
All right, I'll take your point. It's a mixture of both, but it's more to do with fucking Sharks turning up because when you play
Hold on, boys. Sorry.
What do you got there? Error message. Sweet, is that 100%? Yeah. Did that just happen?
Going. Yeah, keep going. Sorry.
All right.
I'll flag if it stops.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you're right. It's a combination of both then, Jacko. I'll meet you halfway. Warriors were awful and they were poor, but the Sharks were unreal, and this is who they are. I'm not just impressed because they had this performance against the Warriors this week. It's because they've shown it for 10 weeks to start the year. Even in their losses. The game against the Broncos last week, they were awful in terms of ball control, crucial moments. Nico, you talked about how good he was rolling the ball in. He didn't come up with the right option a couple of times. They lost like 13-6 or 15-8 or something around that. Like, that just shows who they are. Like, the game doesn't have to be flying perfectly for them. And plus, they're getting troops back. Like, Finucane's been missing a bit of footy. Wade Graham's coming back in. He's going to be playing well. Teague Wilton's unreal from on the back row. I love their back rowers.
We like Teague Wilton.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
When the Sharks are going really well, when the guy like sort of Wade Graham, who probably over the past 8-9 years has been top 3, top 5 player,
one of my favourite players.
Yeah, one of my favourite players as well in the back row. Like, he wouldn't have been the top 5 players right now for them.
Bro, Wado, a year ago, Wado could have missed a whole season and come back in first game and started. That's how far behind Cronulla were. That's how much of a better player Wado was than everyone left in the roster. The luxury to have him and to slowly drip feed him back in these next couple of weeks until he gets his fitness back in, I do believe he'll take someone's spot there, whether it's the back rowers, whether it's maybe Dale Finucane rolling up to a front row.
I'd love to see Wade in the 13.
At this point of his career?
Yeah, just because he used to be a 5'8" and he's an elite passer and he can kick a ball and everything, bro.
I'm not too sure Wade would want to go.
Yeah, I don't know. Wade want to go in there.
I had that. I had it at Wakey where they fucking chucked me in the middle. That's when you know too. You're like, fuck.
Give up, eh?
Yeah. the further you go towards the middle, and then I started playing 9. I'm like, beauty, get me out of here.
9. They throw you at 9.
I played 9 against Leeds one game. But
throwing out watermelons.
Nah, we got the dub, bro. Everyone was out too. All the big dogs were out. Except for Skipper Scope, who was on overs.
I've seen you trying to unplug a charger from the from the power point down there. I can't see you bending down over 40 times.
That's a long way down for you, Skip. Before we move off the Sharks ice, Nico to fullback, like it or hate it?
Love it. Like, I think fullback's the most important position right now in rugby league.
They got a ready-made half
that contributes to points. Your fullback is the position right now that's getting the most points. So you just put your best player back there, and he can still contribute. So.
And they like Trindle anyway.
Handy replacement. Braden Trindle comes back in. I think this will suit Braden Trindle, who's been a little bit the odd man out for him this year, where there was expectations from yourself, Jacko. You thought he was going to potentially win the 7 job, where he's had to work his way back into it. And
well, he did. I was right.
When he's come...
He did start the year at 7, so...
No, because Matty was out when injured.
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
No, he didn't. He was in the trials.
In the trials, he was...
Moyes rolled straight through.
You're right. Did you get the camera on yourself? Make sure you edit your camera on yourself without being really confident.
I haven't been flipping to it much.
So he gets to come in and be a little bit more relaxed because he's been coming on the last 15 minutes of games when he's played and it's trying to come up with a little bit too much. So
with the Raiders,
Raiders. I don't
like anything about. I don't like anything about the Raiders.
They were your preseason hot picks. You like the Raiders?
No. I first said I didn't like him, and then I changed, and now I'm changing back. And so I'm going with my gut instinct on that one.
You talked me around to them too. I started the year saying there's not much to these boys, and by the time round 1 came, we both had them squeaking into the 8. So.
Joey Tarpany needs to get out of there.
Yeah, Redcliffe, baby.
Scope Raiders. Joey Tarpany, he's like and we always compare him to Tino Fa'asua-Malawi. He's in the same position, the guy that's working his ass off for a shitty team.
You know, the one thing I will say, and it's like watching that game, I was happy for Croaks. Like, we said it at the start of the year. Yeah, he got injured. You know how he got injured? Chasing Matt Duffy down from the opposite side of the field from a kick that come from the left-hand side. That's why he's the skipper of the club. That's why guys like that are important. It sucks. That's why he's not playing, because he's busted. He's at the point of his career.
He's so busted,
He's so
bro.
like he's.
I think it was the same shoulder that he had the off-season surgery on too. Which
Is he out? Is he out?
Yeah, he's out for this
It's
week.
dislocated. I think it was 6 weeks. They said something like that.
Bro, you look at him play, he just doesn't look anything like what he used to be.
But
which is
what
like
he
really
does is he
sad.
gives a real calming influence across the board. And Elliot Whitehead come back in. Sort of forgot about Elliot Whitehead. It was a bit of a forgotten guy for me because I love how much he plays. I didn't notice it until I seen him coming and scoring that first meeting and getting his hands back on the ball.
Did too, didn't he?
They've missed Elliot Whitehead for sure the last couple of weeks, but I was just happy for Croaks, and you can see how much he means to the team. Not only that play, but the reaction for the boys, and the footage of all the boys clapping him when he got announced back in the team. I love all that shit, man. I was happy for Croaks, even though it didn't end the way he wanted to by getting injured and not finishing the game. But skipper of the club, and he got his club a much needed win.
How long till Jamal Fogarty's back?
I think he's out for the year, isn't he? I don't think Fogarty's
No,
back.
I think it was like 9 or 10, wasn't he?
I'll have a look.
No, a little bit longer. He did it early on in the year in pre-season, maybe before Chrissy. So I'm thinking maybe round 15 to 20 you might see him back.
All right, Sharks win, but pump him.
Yeah.
That hurt. Oh, no, that deserves to be a Sunday game. Sharks should be on Saturday somewhere playing someone.
Oh, yeah, Ronaldo's back, Connor Tracy. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, Sharks pump him.
Rub me in.
All right. Earn You is a fun way of combining the world of cryptocurrency times gambling. Pick your tips for the weekend by joining the round and have a chance to win some real money. We will be putting our tips in this week as well. So, and the best part of this, if you lose, you don't lose your actual money. So gambling is always about making money. It's about letting people know that your sports knowledge is elite. We'll be doing a PB&J show as well. I've got to take off. So the boys were on fire last week. So Jacko's got the call back up again. But let's roll into the last 2 games of Magic Round.
I hope you chuck your Earn You jam on our 2 lines on a Friday last week. We killed it, got a little meaty, got the fucking Chase the Gorilla. So it was a good week last week. Earn You, baby.
Earn You.
Earn You.
Thanks for taking that too while I was looking that up. Also, Jamal Fogarty, round 15 to 17 is expected to be back. So well done, Skip.
15 to 20.
Well done. All right, let's move on to Isaac John's Roosters taking on the Parramatta Eels. No giant ins, but Connor is back, and the 9 jumper with Verrills out as well, so that timing has worked out well.
He's had a bad run, Verrills, eh?
He's had a horrible run, the poor fella. So talk to me a little bit about the Roosters, Isaac. What do you like or didn't like about last week?
Tedesco. My boy. Thanks for bagging him too, because
Yeah.
he come back and scored a hat-trick straight away.
He watches all our
Some
content
people
too.
were into me, so I
Yeah,
got a couple of
good.
messages.
Thank you.
I got messages going, fucking Jacko.
The hard thing about the Roosters is that you look at them on paper, they're such a good side, but they just do not look like a team whatsoever. And I was hoping sort of the week, like maybe this week away, they're up at the Sunshine Coast. They've gone from playing the Titans up there to...
They went at Mackay or something?
Yeah, they're in Mackay, and then now they're spending a week together, so maybe this little time together.
Connor,
I don't know.
Connor said as much, yeah.
Yeah, Sammy Walker, like Luke Carey put up 3 tries to us as well. He's starting to come good. It's about sort of just those repeat efforts and putting back-to-back games, and obviously they're good enough. I love Sammy Walker right now. He's running the ball a lot. He sort of reminds me of DCE a little bit. You know the way they move, bro? They've kind of got that little sway body and a step.
Yeah, the way he runs, I've got a different player comp for him, and this is based off...
Lockyer?
Nah, you know who he reminds me of? Early Piercy. Not the way their playing styles are, but the teams that they've come into. So you remember, like, obviously Ches, his playing, the way he moves reminds me so much of a young Ches, and he sort of floats and plays off the cuff and all that stuff. But what he does is, because I played 20s with Piercy when he rolled into that Roosters team, and that was like the decline of a Roosters team for a couple of years, but there were big names in it, right? They had Mace, O'Mealy, Braith was there.
Nate Miles.
Yeah, all those. And Piercy comes in there, but those players were sort of they'd just finished their run. So it reminds me a lot of like Jared.
Are we in the transition phase?
I think, I wrote down, I just think who this is who the Roosters is at the moment. I think they need a couple more players. They're going to develop with Sammy Walker over the next couple of years. And
their wins have been run off the back of individual brilliance. It's either Joey Manu dragging us out of shit and scoring 2 tries, or maybe Suwali scoring a couple, or Tedesco.
So
That's
Teddy.
all we're relying on right now. And like some of our big name players aren't in the same space that they were. Like Angus Crichton's one as well. Probably Victor Radley's very like pass happy as well. So
I thought that was Angus Crichton's probably his best game last week. I actually thought he played really well, but he has been a slow start to the year.
Yeah, and like you looked at Victor Radley this time last year, he was in the conversation of Cam Murray, of Isaiah Yao. It was almost like a couple of years ago when Mitchell Moses was almost in the same conversation as Nathan Cleary, and then Nathan Cleary took off. Yao's taken off. Cam Murray's taken off. He's kind of just plateaued, and 13 is one of the most important positions right now. It's in your top 4 positions.
Jakey and Rads are the same for me at the moment. They're solid without having had those highlighted, those special performances that we know they're capable of.
But then Jakey can plug in at a prop when you go up to those rep levels as well, so you can cover those 2 positions. Where Rads is like, kind of just stayed the same. And then everyone's in the
for Origin, I'd still pick Radley. I'd pick Radley and Jakey and figure out the rest around it off the bench. Because I know those 2 guys, even though we haven't seen it at the Roosters, Radley can play front row. Takiaho was really good for him. He came back, he had a bit of intent. But like those,
he knows. I think when you know you're going, because he's going to Catalans next year as well. So
those performances. He used to have those performances every week. Now he's another player, a little bit older. Body's a little bit more banged up, been around for a minute, done it at a high level for a long time. I just think this is who the Roosters are.
He's going to come out he needs to get in that Tongan camp in the mid-year and get around the boys again. Remember, juice them up. All the boys come out of those camps, especially the Tongan side, they all come back beast mode, hang around Tomalolo. Yeah. A few huckers here and there, get around the boys, and they come out flying. So I just feel like football's a bit of a grind for Takiaho at the moment. He's been elite for so long, so he's just wanting to get the France, get on the wines.
My apologies.
I don't think he's a big drinker, Takiaho, but the Islanders change over there.
It's more of a wine, more of a France reference.
Few of the Reds, a
few Reds. What about Parramatta Scope? Performance of the year. What'd you make of them?
Unreal. Last week's performance, I want to give our boy Clint Tracker Gutherson a massive shout out. Obviously, him and his co-skipper Junior Paulo were unreal. Junior got the 3 points. I thought for me, and I messaged him as well, I said to Gutho, that's one of the most impressive performances I've seen from you in a long time. It's not like he plays bad. He plays unreal every week. But him and Dylan Edwards, just guys that they're sort of like the forgotten guys at the position as well. When you talk about Teddy, Turbo, Latrell, big names, Pappy. We've got really good fullbacks in this competition now.
Is that because they're not as highlighty?
I think it's just because they're more like tradesmen-like. They don't really affect the game with crazy big plays, cut-out balls. Like Gutho's got it in him. Dylan Edwards has got it in him. But what they do is they just turn up all the time and they do all the shitty work, and that's what I want to talk about. Gutho's shitty work. So Dylan Edwards and Gutho were both returning their ball. I haven't seen the stats. I'd imagine that both their stats are really good. I'd imagine Dylan Edwards would have blown him out of the water, because the difference between Dylan Edwards and Gutho is what I talked about with Penrith. The way that they were able to drown Parramatta out of field position. Gutho was just basically getting the ball, either catching it and running into a defensive line that was about 5 metres away from him, and he was coming from inside his 20, it felt like, for the entire game, whereas because Panthers was so good defensively, Dylan Edwards was getting it, still does a really good job and does exactly what's expected for his team, but he was getting it. He'd get the ball, gets about 20 metres to carry it into the defensive line. Mitchy Moses was kicking it so far back. And then what Parramatta were doing was they were just really getting up there trying to have a solid line, but giving Dylan Edwards the opportunity to either get back straight away, which he does really well, or tip it to Brian Sato. But my point about Gutho is he just never really got the ball in any great field position. And he carted the ball up so strong. Obviously, a nice little tip on to Ryan Madison for the game winner as well, which come off the back of constantly being under pressure, and he comes out the back on a bit of a sweep play. Someone shoots out of him. He steps on the inside. Nice little ball to Madison, who was unreal for them as well. But I just thought Gutho, and the reason I used the word is because it just summed up his performance. I thought he willed his team to a win. He come out. He at the start of the week, he said, not only himself but his senior playing group let down little Jakey Arthur last week, so they would have been disappointed at the way that they performed against the Cowboys, and come out with the performance, for me, one of the best performances of the year. I was really happy for Tracker. I thought he was unreal. Along with, like I said, his co-captain, who everyone's seen it. He was the opposite. So when Junior Paulo, when they were under the pump and they weren't making any yards, they gave the ball to Junior. And Junior went from it being a really rough set for 2 or 3 tackles to skittling a couple of people, getting a quick play of the ball, therefore giving Mitchy Moses a little bit of room to get some of those really good yardage kicks to Dylan Edwards like he did.
Yeah, I think the one exciting thing about Parramatta is they've knocked over the 2 best sides. So, you look at the week before and they got pumped from the Cowboys and they'll probably sweep that game underneath the rug as well. But there's a lot of upside for Para. Them and Sharks are probably the only 2 sides that I can see knocking over 1 and 2. So, like you said, it was a nice, tough performance as well. It's just they got to string this together and come alive in the finals time. Is it too early to talk about finals for Parramatta? Obviously, they're going to be there.
They'll be there.
But that's kind of the stigma they got around them is they can't rock up when it matters. So,
wait till I get to Scopes tears me to finish off. But what these 2 teams remind me of, they've flipped in the last couple of years. So a couple of years ago, Para would have been that team that had really inconsistent performances. You sort of didn't know what you're going to get from them week to week, but you sort of knew, even though they played awful against the Cowboys, Parramatta have been pretty good this year. But in years past, Roosters, if they're in this position where Parramatta is now, a game like this, they'd really get up for it and put Parramatta to the stick. So I want Parramatta now to they're not going to flog the Roosters, I'm not saying that, but a nice 26-14 win. You know what I mean? A convincing win where
off a big win.
Although the scoreboard's pretty close, you always feel comfortable that Para are going to win it because they're the classier team, they're the better team at this point of the year. This is what I want the Parramatta Eels to do to the Roosters this week. I don't think it's going to be an easy game, but I want to go to that game going, I was never really worried about Parramatta. That's what I want to see from them this week.
Yeah, you just never know if the Roosters are. We might just fuck around and put a game together this week. So who knows? I'll go Roosters. Got to support my team. Yeah, obviously you go Eels.
Yeah, I'm going Para.
Last game of the round. Let's go, Jacko.
Yeah, I'm going to go Para too for whatever it's worth. But the Tigers versus the Cowboys. The Cowboys are unchanged. Obviously still sitting 3rd, which we'll get to.
This is the craziest shit ever, eh?
But they deserve it. They're playing unreal at the moment.
They do.
Only the one change made by Michael Maguire, so Luciano Leilua is back.
Up against his future side as well too. That's going to be a good little...
Yeah, right. Scope up against... Talk to me about the Tigers. Start with the Tigers.
I wrote down as I was watching the game, you've just got to respect how far the Tigers have come in the last month of footy, 5 weeks. I give them no chance in this game, and although they did get blown out, they were trying all the way to the death, even kicking off short and trying to get the footy back and score points. You've got to respect that about the Tigers. In the last couple of years, again, I bring back past performances a lot and what you expect of teams in the past. If Luciano and David Nofaluma were out, and the reason I hold them guys in so high regard is they're a problem. Like when you have to tackle Noffa, you very rarely get a good shot on him, and even if you do, he still manages to get up and get a quick play of the ball on a defensive line that's not set, and therefore other guys can be a little bit better in their positions. And then again, at the back end of the sets, when Luciano gets involved most of the time, whether it be off... I just love Luciano. Whether it be giving him early ball or he runs a real tough line, he's got a little bit of variety where he can go in and out. I think he's just a real underrated player, and the fact that those 2 guys were missing for the Tigers and they just kept on hanging around there and they kept on scrapping against a Manly team that looked at times like they were going to blow them away and they just never went away. The Tigers they're changing their culture there, man, and they've come up against a team that have completely changed their culture already this year. So I'm looking forward to this game again.
Tigers win.
Oh, yes. Upset of the round.
Tigers win. I just think they're going to win. I just think Cowboys have been performing at a level so high for so long. I don't think they're the type of team that be able to maintain it. I still think they're a really good side, and obviously they're going to play probably finals this year as well, and defensively very sound. If I was betting on this, which I won't be on PB&J, so I'm just trying to sneak this in right now, go Tigers on the line and Tommy Devlin to score a try.
Having a line with ice on a Sunday. Look, the one thing about the Cowboys watching that game is Newcastle come to play. It would have been a really tough game. They come off a really emotional win against Parramatta. They've got to play the last Plates Knights, who have been awful. The game at half-time wasn't flowing the way that they would have liked. When I looking at the boxes, went up to Toddy Payton, composed. They're just so composed. They know who they are, and it's so impressive. There's skill across the board, and it goes back to our little mate fucking Ruben Cotter in the middle. You know who my player comp for Ruben Cotter is? He's Dallas Johnson with a little tip on and a little bit of mongrel, like, you know what I mean? Like
a bit more size, eh? Like
yeah,
you can do a bit more.
Yeah, you can just probably do more offensively. He's got a nice little tip on with that dummy half background. He's got a little offload. He pushes it up. He's always thereabouts. Ruben Cotter's elite, man. He's starting to move into that category now where I don't only see him as a guy that's like, oh, fuck, he's nice. He's becoming one of the Premier League forwards in the game. Every week he gets better. But when you look at the Cowboys, to be able to come up against a Knights team that wanted it bad, that needed it, they were in the game up until halftime, and then they're just class kicked away. I just thought their skill across the board is just silky. Some of their catch pass at the moment is just, they've really developed it as the year gone on. At the start of the year, they wanted to really defend their way to win. Now, because they know that they've got that, and they can revert back to that if they need it. They've got a little bit of footy in them too, and they're a fun team to watch.
Yeah,
this will be a good game.
Yeah, be a good game because they've both got attack in them and both got really fun back rolls to watch as well. So I don't know why. Just something about Tigers is sticking out to me that they might jag one here.
I think as well it's worth. We mentioned a couple of weeks ago, and he has been getting a lot of reps. But Jeremiah Nanai is he's 19.
Helium
bro.
Lukey, Helium Lukey too.
This is funny. Like I seen him get named in the Queensland under-19.
Jeremiah
Nanai. I was like, he's almost probably in the main side at the moment.
Yeah, I fucking oath.
He's an absolute freak. I always think.
Hey, here's a question: would you pick him over David Fafita right now for Origin?
Yeah.
I would.
I wouldn't. I'm a David Fafita guy.
I'd probably have them both in there, but if it come down to
starting
selection,
number 11, who you going? No.
So Kafusi's the lock?
Yeah, I'm just saying between them two boys. Nanai.
Yeah, Nanai. I'd pick Nanai to start over him, for
I
sure.
would too. Mate, bro, look what he's doing outside.
Capewell will start, but yeah.
Respectfully.
Oh, yeah, Capewell, yeah.
Respectfully, look what he's doing outside Chad Townsend. Imagine if he gets a DCE Munster slinging him the ball.
I think we would probably see even more of Nanai if Townsend got his kick right. You know, he probably gets the kick on the spot 3 or 4 times a game, and Nanai comes down with it.
He shanks a couple that come off too. They're playing that well. He shanked a couple when they're still fucking scoring tries.
That's when you know you're on, eh?
That Tuolangi or Talangi, I always say his name wrong, man. But he's a gun, bro. Like we talked about it. If he's the odd one to miss out, with Hamiso coming off the bench, man, like fuck.
Todd Payton spoke about it. Like it's like having a Ferrari parked in the garage, and you really want to use it, you really want to drive it, but he goes, you just got to get to work sometimes and do your thing. And then he said on the weekends you get to bust the Ferrari out. That's how he sort of views Fabio Fido. I also think it's weird just on Ruben Cotter, how they keep naming him in the 10 jumper and Taumalolo in the 13 when they play those. I don't get the point. We all know. You know what I mean?
I just think
some guys are numbers guys, bro.
Yeah,
Taumalolo might want the 13. You know, there's some guys when you're doing a team photo and they have to wear their own position number.
Bro, have you got the 7? It's like, who cares, bro?
Yeah. Give me the extra small.
When you get over to the Super League, some players, it's a respect thing as well. Like you get over to the Super League and some players deserve the number, even though they might not start. You give them the starting number because they've earned that. And Taumalolo, I don't know if he even wants it that much or whatever. We're making too much out of it, but
you feel fatter if you got an 8 or 10 on, respectfully.
He deserves to have that 13 because when I think of Jason Taumalolo, I think 13 straight through the middle.
Yeah, you feel like you're fat. If
Cotter could wear 27, he wouldn't give a fuck. Does he make the Queensland side this year?
Yeah, I hope so.
Ruben Cotter?
I'd have to have a proper look at the team.
We need to have a look at the teams in the next couple of weeks. We'll break down the teams as we find it.
I've seen some people start knocking up some way too early Origin sides, but I'm a lot more confident about the Queensland side than I was last year. And sometimes they might even be the same guys, but someone like a Valentine Holmes is
playing a lot
10
better.
times better than what he was last year.
Prez is playing a lot better than he was last year. Ches is playing... Prez is pretty steady.
Harry Grant's got more footy under him now.
Flying.
Ches, he said. Yeah.
Ches.
Yeah.
All right, Scope, tears me to finish off.
Yeah, go for it, Scope. The floor's yours, mate.
All right, so at the start of the year, I gave you my tiers. Fuck, I forgot to go over them as we're going, but fuck it. It doesn't matter.
Oh, no, don't worry. I went over them.
They're all different now anyway. You can tell me
I'm the right.
where they change a little bit.
I'm the most right. Too.
All right, tier 5. I'm calling this the casting couch tier. So everyone's auditioning now in these teams. The Warriors, Raiders, Titans, Bulldogs and Knights. Coaches, players, staff, GMs, everyone's auditioning. It's time to start thinking about next year and putting in good performances to finish off the right way to finish the year. I've got the Swingers. This is tier 4. This is the Broncos, Tigers and Dragons. These teams could go either way, Broncos, Tigers and Dragons. When you look at them, they could fuck around, lose 4 in a row, and you wouldn't be surprised if they're in the fucking casting couch. But they could also fuck around, string a couple of performances together, beat some good teams, and then potentially move their way into tier 3, which is missionary. My missionary.
Old reliable.
My missionary. They're a bit boring, you know? You sort of know that the Roosters and Rabbitohs, these are the 2 teams in this tier. they're thereabouts. They're probably going to be in the 8, not going to do anything, sort of not going to probably fall out of the 8. You know that they're going to be thereabouts, but pretty boring at the moment.
Don't sleep on Missionary, Scope.
Yeah, Missionary. A lot of people use Missionary, man. That's the thing. So
Bit of eye contact.
the second one, tier 2, and this is the Sharks, Cowboys and Seagulls. This is doggy style. These teams could fuck you from behind. These teams could fuck the big dogs. Like they're capable of getting to a preliminary final and knocking out a big dog who I've got in tier 1. And the tier 1 is Lord of the Rings. So the Lord of the Rings are the Storm, the Panthers, and the Eels. These are the 3 teams that have, for me, set themselves about. We were talking about that just before us. A couple of teams that have really set themselves apart from the rest of the competition. I think, Sharks, Cowboys and Seagulls can fuck around and beat one of those teams and maybe make a GF but not win it and beat one of those teams that are at the top in the Storms, Panthers and Eels. But we'll see how Scope tears me. I think I'll come back in about week 20, reassess it just before the finals. But Jacko, where did I go right and wrong? Obviously, have you got some of them?
I've got some of them. I'm not going to run through them all because we are getting short on time. But pre-season Scope, you hit it about 50% as to where we are now.
Okay.
So it's not too bad.
Yep.
Isaac was closer up towards around the 75% mark.
Sounds about right.
He got a few exact right in terms of the Warriors sitting 10th and stuff like that. He got a few exact ones right. But more or less, I was grossly wrong. The only one I nailed was I said Cronulla would be a top 4 side, and Isaac rolled his eyes at me and put his forehead on the microphone. So we'll clip that one up. But we will be at Magic Round, and that is the YKTR Sports Show for another day, Ice.
Scope tears me. Best segment of YKTR Sports.
That was good, Scope. Well done.